The Big Bang did not bang. It did not erupt like fireworks across a silent canvas. There was no roar, no blinding flash, no explosion tearing through a dark void, because there was no darkness, no void, no before, just nothing, or something, so alien to our understanding that we mistake it for nothing. You might imagine a great clock winding backwards, the hands spinning faster and faster until, at last, they stop. At the beginning. But here's the unsettling truth. Time itself may not have existed before that moment. So what, then, are we winding back to? This isn't just a puzzle of physics. It's a tear in the fabric of everything you've ever believed. Because if time began at the Big Bang, then there was no before, no yesterday, no past lurking behind that cosmic curtain. But your mind rebels at that idea, doesn't it? Something had to exist. There had to be something, a spark, a presence, a force. We can't comprehend the void as anything but a placeholder, a silence waiting to be broken. But what if the silence is all there ever was? Picture this, the cosmos as a breath not yet exhaled. The tension before the first word of a story, the infinite pause between heartbeats, where nothing moves, nothing changes, and yet everything waits. That waiting, it defies science, mocks logic, and yet it might be the very fabric of our origin. Imagine standing at the edge of time, peering into the abyss. There is no light, no stars, no dimensions, not even blackness, just stillness. And in that stillness, a paradox pulses like a hidden drumbeat. The universe was born not from somewhere, but from nowhere. It didn't explode into something. It became something. And here's where things truly unravel. If space and time are part of the universe, then they too were born in that moment. Which means any question of before is like asking, what's north of the North Pole? It's not a place you can go because it doesn't exist. But what if it did? What if our entire framework is flawed? What if the Big Bang was not the beginning of everything, but the end of something else? You feel that, don't you? That flicker in your mind, the dissonance, the quiet, rising fear that maybe we don't understand what reality is at all, that the laws of physics, the bedrock of everything we trust, might not have always been true. That's not just mystery, that's terror. Because if the Big Bang was a transition and not a creation, then what lies beyond that veil? A universe before this one? A cycle repeating across aeons? Or perhaps a realm governed by rules so foreign they might as well be magic? And if so, can we even call it existence? The sky above you, filled with galaxies drifting like cosmic lanterns, is not the whole story. It is only the chapter we're in. The pages before it have been torn out, burnt, or perhaps never written at all. So what do you trust when everything you know, the stars, the planets, even the ticking of the clock, came into being in an instant? That defies explanation? What anchors your belief in cause and effect, when the first cause may not have a cause at all? And what if our universe is not the only one? What if the Big Bang was not a singular miracle, but one of infinite ripples in a vast ocean of unseen realities? What if beyond the walls of our cosmic bubble, there are other universes, stillborn or thriving, each with its own rules, its own time, its own beginning? We call this the multiverse, not because we understand it, but because we need a word for the madness, for the possibility that we are not a fluke, not a miracle, but one of countless possibilities rolling through an eternal lottery. It humbles you, doesn't it? To think that everything may have emerged not from divine will or perfect order, but from raw, unspeakable chaos, or worse, from nothing at all. So let me ask you this. If there was no time, if there was no space, no matter, no anything, then how did something ever begin? Maybe the question itself is wrong. Maybe we are asking with minds shaped by a universe that came after. Maybe we are fish trying to imagine what it's like to fly, but still, we ask, because we must. Because deep down, in the marrow of your bones, you feel it. That itch, that ache, that ancient question echoing louder than any explosion ever could. What was there? Before the beginning? Imagine this. You are floating in a space with no direction, no up, no down, no left or right. Just an endless silence that stretches in every direction, except there are no directions, no stars to guide you, no time to pass, nothing to measure against. This is not emptiness. Emptiness implies the possibility of something. This is less than that. This is the raw canvas on which the cosmos would one day be painted. Now, snap forward. 13.8 billion years ago. A singular moment. A breathless instant. The universe flares into being, not in a place, but as place itself. Not inside time, but as time. This is what science tells us. A singularity, infinitely small, infinitely dense, hotter than anything we can comprehend. A point from which everything exploded outward. The Big Bang. But even that phrase, the Big Bang, is misleading. It evokes fire, noise, chaos. But there was no sound. There was no medium to carry it. No air, no space, just pure expansion. And this expansion wasn't pushing into something. It was creating space itself as it went. It's not an explosion in space. It's an explosion of space. Picture it this way. Imagine a balloon being inflated. Not with air, but with existence. Every atom, every galaxy, every law of nature, stretching outward, written into the skin of that expanding surface, from the smallest vibrations of energy to the swirling arms of future galaxies, it was all there, encoded in the heat, waiting to cool, to slow, to become. In that first second, the universe was a storm of raw potential. Quarks collided and merged. The first fundamental forces separated from one another. Gravity, the weak and strong nuclear forces, electromagnetism, all distinct now, like branches from a single trunk. Time moved differently then, if it moved at all. It flowed like molten glass, thick, hot, unstable, and yet it moved. The early universe wasn't just hot. It was a furnace where time itself was still learning to move. Within moments, the universe was a seething ocean of plasma, so dense, so bright, light itself couldn't travel through it. Photons were trapped, bouncing endlessly, blind inside their own birth. Matter existed only as scattered fragments, protons and neutrons too chaotic to form anything meaningful. And yet, from this chaos, order would rise. But let's slow this down, because here lies the contradiction. We call the Big Bang a beginning, the beginning. But how can a beginning have no cause? How can everything, from galaxies to gravity, to your very thoughts, emerge from nothing, from a moment that cannot be explained? Let's walk deeper. Think of time as a river. In our world, it flows forward. We ride it without choice, always downstream. But at the Big Bang, that river didn't exist. Instead, it was like a drop of water suspended in air, motionless. Then, suddenly, it begins to fall. The flow starts. Cause leads to effect. Moments become history. But the question is, what dropped the water? Quantum physics tells us that on the smallest scales, uncertainty rules. Particles blink in and out of existence. Energy flares momentarily from the void, then vanishes. It's chaotic, unpredictable, strange. Some scientists believe the universe itself may have emerged from such a fluctuation, a bubble in the fabric of quantum nothingness. But what is quantum nothing? It's not truly nothing. It's more like a stage with no actors, but the potential for a play. Empty, yet pregnant with possibility. A vacuum with laws, rules, conditions, a silent engine. So now we arrive at another contradiction. If the universe came from a quantum fluctuation, then the laws that allow those fluctuations had to exist before the universe. But how can laws exist without space, without time? You see how this unravels? Even the scientific truths we cling to begin to shake under scrutiny. We zoom in, peel back the layers, and the picture doesn't get clearer. It gets more mysterious. Every answer births more questions. Every step forward deepens the shadow. And here's another. If the universe is expanding, what is it expanding into? We know space is growing. Galaxies are drifting apart like islands on a swelling sea. But if the universe has no edge, if space itself is all there is, then what lies beyond it? The human mind screams for borders, for containment. But the cosmos offers none. It's like trying to imagine a hallway with no walls, a circle with no outside. And yet, that is the reality cosmologists confront. A universe with no center, no boundary, no edge, just endless expansion of everything, everywhere, all at once. And yet, in all this immensity, the laws of physics hold. Gravity still pulls. Light still travels. Atoms still bind. But why? Why do these laws exist at all? Why do they work so perfectly, from the birth of stars to the beating of your heart? That's the cosmic setup. A universe born in mystery, ruled by laws we don't fully understand, expanding into a reality we cannot touch. And all of it, from a moment we can never witness. Only imagine. You might feel small. You should. But you should also feel awake. Because we are part of that story, made from the ashes of stars, woven into the very fabric of time's unfolding. So the next time you look at the night sky, remember, you're not just seeing light. You're seeing a question, a contradiction, a cosmic whisper from the edge of understanding, asking, what was there before this? And why did this become what is? Imagine reality not as a flowing river, but as a film reel. Each frame, each second, already exists. Past, present, and future, etched into the strip like ink on parchment. We don't move through time. We read it. Like a projector illuminating one frame after another, our minds create the illusion of motion, of change, of time itself. But what if time isn't flowing at all? Let's return to the singularity, that mythical point at the origin of the Big Bang. Infinitely dense, infinitely hot. A place where the known laws of physics collapse into chaos. A singularity is not just a thing, it's a breakdown of logic. Gravity becomes infinite. Space compresses into a point. Time curls into oblivion. The equations we use to understand the universe, Einstein's general relativity, quantum mechanics, they scream at the singularity. They diverge. They fail. So we are left staring into a riddle, a place where doesn't exist, a time before time, a moment that breaks all moments. You might imagine the singularity like the tip of a needle so sharp it has no surface. It pierces existence. It is neither in the universe nor outside it. It simply is. And from it, reality unfurls like a flower blooming in fast forward. But here's the twist. Singularities don't just appear at the beginning of time. They also exist at the end. Inside black holes. Every black hole, every collapsed, star crushed under its own weight, hides a singularity at its heart, a place where matter is crushed into infinite density, where space-time is ripped apart. And so the question arises, if black holes lead to singularities, and the Big Bang was a singularity, could they be connected? What if black holes don't destroy information, as we once thought? What if they're gateways to other universes? This is the birth of the black hole cosmology theory, the idea that every black hole could spawn a new universe on the other side of its event horizon, that our own universe might have been born from the death of another. Suddenly, the singularity isn't an endpoint. It's a bridge, and here's where we step into madness. Some physicists propose that every universe spawns countless new ones, that each black hole creates its own reality, a cosmic family tree branching endlessly across an eternal multiverse, universes birthing universes, an infinite recursion of creation. In this vision, we are not the only cosmos, not even the first. We are a single flicker in a vast constellation of realities, each with its own laws, its own time, its own physics. Some are dark. Some may never give rise to life. Some may look like ours, but are not. This is the multiverse, not a fantasy, but a serious theory supported by the mathematics of string theory, quantum field theory, and inflationary cosmology. And speaking of inflation, let's rewind to the first fraction of a second after the Big Bang, an event called cosmic inflation. The universe didn't just expand, it ballooned. Space itself grew faster than the speed of light. Galaxies didn't fly apart. Space grew between them. This expansion was so sudden, so violent, it smoothed out the chaos, flattened the cosmos, and set the stage for everything to come. But inflation theory has a secret. It doesn't stop. In many versions, inflation continues eternally, in the vast expanse beyond our observable universe. And in those far-flung regions, new bubble universes form, each with different physical laws. Ours is just one of those bubbles, a cosmic soap foam, expanding forever, endlessly birthing new realities. You are living in a bubble of space, a warm, familiar cradle, floating in an ocean of infinite possibility. But let's go deeper. What if time itself is an illusion? Enter the block universe theory, a radical interpretation of relativity. In this view, all points in time, past, present, future, exist equally. The future is not unwritten. The past is not gone. They are all there, frozen in the structure of space-time, like a landscape, like a book where every page already exists. Your birth, your last breath, every heartbeat in between. They're not events waiting to happen. They are, eternally embedded in the fabric of the cosmos, You just perceive them one after another, like a needle moving through a vinyl. Record? It sounds deterministic. It sounds horrifying, but it also means you never truly disappear. You are a part of the structure of reality. Always. Then there's the idea of cyclical time, that the universe lives, dies, and is reborn again and again. The ekpyrotic universe model suggests that our Big Bang wasn't the beginning, but a collision between higher dimensional branes, giant membranes floating in a higher dimensional space. Their clash created our universe, and they will collide again, in another cycle. Imagine a heartbeat, a pulse of creation and destruction. Bang, expand, cool, collapse, bang again. If this is true, then our universe has no beginning or end, only cycles. You've lived before, in other forms. You may live again, not through reincarnation, but through recurrence. And now, time loops at the frontier of quantum gravity and cosmology lies the possibility that the universe is a closed loop, that if you travel far enough, long enough, you return to the start, not just in space, but in time, that the end of the universe might fold back into its beginning, that the Big Bang is not a start, but a restart. If time is a loop, then causality becomes a snake eating its tail. The future causes the past. The past creates the future. Every moment echoes endlessly. You are reading these words now, but perhaps you've read them before. Perhaps you always will. And yet, through all these theories, singularities, black hole universes, multiverses, time loops, one thing remains constant: mystery, not ignorance, but a deeper knowing. A realization that behind every discovery lies another question. That science, for all its power, is not a lantern revealing all, but a matchstick sparking flashes in the endless dark. And as we move into the heart of paradox, the questions grow louder. Why do the laws of physics work? Why is there something rather than nothing? Why this universe and not another? The answers may exist beyond our reach, or they may be hidden in plain sight. What if everything you've ever done, every breath, every mistake, every kiss, has already happened? Not once, but countless times. What if you are living in a loop, so vast, so perfect, you can't even see the walls? You wake up, you live, you die, and then it begins again. Not because of some divine punishment or poetic justice, but because the universe itself remembers. If time is an illusion, then free will collapses with it. Your choices, your regrets, the dreams you sacrificed or chased, they're etched into the cosmic structure like fossils in stone. You are not moving through time. You are frozen in it, a sculpture pretending to dance. That's the first cut. Thy first glimpse into the existential wound. Because everything we've learned so far about singularities, time loops, endless universes isn't just a scientific curiosity. It's a threat to meaning itself. You are not at the center of the universe. You are not even guaranteed to be real. In some quantum interpretations, you are just one version of an infinite self, countless yous flickering across realities. Some live. Some die young. Some make different choices. Some never exist. So which one is you? If there are infinite copies of your life, does yours matter at all? And now, the horror creeps in, because it's not just the universe that is vast. It's the absence of you within it. Zoom out. There are more stars in the observable universe than grains of sand on all Earth's beaches. More galaxies than there are thoughts you've had in your entire life. Entire worlds spinning in silence that will never know you existed. From their perspective, you are the nothing. But it cuts both ways. Because from your perspective, those worlds are the ghosts. They orbit alien suns in the dark, untouched, unobserved, unseen. Their stories may never be told. Their light may never reach your eyes. They die in silence, just as we might. So here comes the question. What if the universe isn't just a stage, but a consciousness? A mind so vast, so ancient, that we are its dreams, its flickers, its momentary thoughts before waking. What if you are not asking the universe questions, but the universe is asking you? What am I? It whispers through your voice. Why do I exist? It wonders through your tears. Will I last? It fears through your death. And now we've crossed the threshold. This isn't just about stars or theories. This is about the fragility of being. What does it mean to matter in a place so infinite? What does it mean to love, to struggle, to build, if it all vanishes into entropy? You've heard the term before, heat death, the slow fading of all light, all motion, all order. One day, the stars will blink out, black holes will dissolve, even time may forget how to tick, and all that will remain is cold and dark. A universe that once held Beethoven and black holes, gone silent. So tell me, is it better that we never existed at all? Or is there a quiet kind of glory in burning brightly for even a moment against the pull of oblivion? If everything returns to nothing, then isn't every breath you take an act of defiance? You were born from stars, forged in the fire of creation. You are the cosmos, briefly aware of itself. And yet, even that awareness is fragile, because if this is all a loop, if this is a dream, a simulation, a glitch, then nothing you do can change what already is. So here's the final question, the one that bites deepest. If the universe has no purpose, can I defy it? You still have one? And if nothing truly matters, can you still choose to? That is the crisis, and perhaps the only real freedom left. Then, what if we've been asking the wrong question all along? Not, what was there before the Big Bang? But what if the Big Bang never truly happened at all? What if everything, the galaxies, the cosmic background radiation, the arrow of time, your own memories, are part of a mirage, a projection, a false beginning stitched into space-time by something deeper, older, and far more terrifying? Let me show you something. Close your eyes and imagine the entire universe, the glowing filaments of galaxies, like veins in a giant's body, stretching across trillions of light years. Nebulae swirl like ancient spirits. Black holes spin like cosmic whirlpools. And somewhere, floating in that vastness, is Earth. Small, fragile, glowing with life like a single ember. Now zoom out, beyond Earth, beyond galaxies, beyond everything we know, to a place where physics bends in ways that can't be written down. Because some physicists now believe we are trapped inside a cosmic hologram. Not metaphorically, literally. This theory, called the holographic principle, suggests that everything, space, time, gravity, even your thoughts, might be encoded on the distant boundary of the universe, like a cosmic hard drive projecting a three-dimensional illusion inward, that our universe, in all its depth, is just a shadow, cast from the edges of something we will never touch. If true, then everything you've ever known was never here, not truly. You, reading this now, are a pattern, a flicker, a ripple on the surface of an incomprehensible reality beyond space and time. And if that doesn't shake you, consider this. What if the universe is already dead? What if what we call now is just the trailing echo of an event long gone? A final vibration of a cosmic drum that stopped beating aeons ago. Light continues to travel. Atoms continue to dance. But the source of it all, the origin, the pulse, the spark, is gone. We may be ghosts of a universe that has already vanished. We may be the afterglow, the memory of something greater. And here comes the twist no one is prepared for. Some cosmologists believe the universe may end not with a bang, but a crack, a vacuum decay, a catastrophic event where the very laws of physics could spontaneously shift, where a bubble of true vacuum could form somewhere in the cosmos, small, silent, deadly, and expand at the speed of light, rewriting reality as it goes. You'd never see it coming. No alarm, no explosion, just nothing, instantly. The end of everything, every star, every law, every you, without warning. But maybe it already happened. And the fact you're still here means you are one of the rare branches of the universe that survived the collapse. A shard floating in a sea of broken laws. An accident. A miracle. A lonely witness to what remains. But even that isn't the end. Because in the deepest models of cosmology, there's something more unnerving than destruction. Recursion. A cosmic feedback loop. The universe collapsing and expanding in endless iterations, not linearly, but all at once. Every cycle layered on top of the others. Every you stacked like mirrors facing each other in a dark hallway. No beginning. No end. Just motion. Forever. So the Big Bang? It might not be the first. It might not even be real. It might just be your point of view. A local flash in a much larger storm. You are the universe, folded in on itself. You are a paradox pretending to be a person. You are a question without an answer. And here's the haunting thought that lingers. If the universe is infinite, then somewhere, out there, another version of you is watching this video right now. Another mind, another life, another dream. You'll never meet. You'll never know, but the same questions haunt you both. What was there before the beginning? And the silence answers. Nothing. Everything. Both. So we end where we began. Not with certainty, but with awe. Because maybe the most human thing we can do is wonder. So here we are, at the edge of everything we thought we knew. We've peeled back the layers of time, wandered through the primordial fire of the Big Bang, stared into the cold black eyes of singularities, stepped cautiously into multiverses, and confronted the unbearable silence that comes with realizing how small, and yet how strangely central we might be. And what have we found? Mysteries wrapped in paradoxes. Answers that only lead to deeper, more unsettling questions. The comforting certainty of a beginning, now dissolved into a fog of infinite maybes. Was there ever a true start? Is time a direction or a dimension? Are we the universe's accidental witnesses, or its intended voice? You've heard the theories. You've felt the weight of infinity. You've stared into the abyss and realized the abyss doesn't just stare back. It asks you questions. What if the universe is asking you to remember it, to wake up within it? Because maybe the story of the cosmos isn't finished. Maybe it's writing itself through us, through our thoughts, our discoveries, our dreams of what came before, and what might come after. You see, science doesn't end mysteries. It sharpens them. And the more we know, the more impossible the truth begins to seem. We started this journey with one question: what was there before the Big Bang? We asked it in hopes of finding a definitive answer. But now, you know the truth. Some questions are meant to echo forever. And maybe that's the point. Not to solve the universe, but to listen to it, to wander through its riddles, to feel its vastness press against your mind until you break, and then rebuild yourself again. So here's your call to action. Not to accept the unknown, but to dance with it, to question, to imagine, to argue, to wonder, to stare into the stars with ancient awe and say, I don't know, but I want to. Because the Big Bang wasn't just a physical event. It was a call, a spark, a beginning of curiosity. And you are that curiosity, given form, a thinking star, a whisper of the void trying to understand itself. So, what do you believe? Do you think there was something before it all? Another universe? A god? A loop? A dream? Or do you believe this is all there ever was, and ever will be? Tell us, we want to know what you think. Because maybe, in the collective dreaming of our species lies a hidden truth we haven't found yet. Maybe the answer isn't in equations, but in asking together. And if the universe truly has no end, then maybe neither do you. The story isn't over. It's barely begun.